Well, hey there, it's Jamie, that's me here. Welcome back to my channel. Now let's go ahead and get into a quick chat, honey. Let's talk about it. All right, y'all. Just so y'all know, tonight we will be over on Bondi Blues channel as we will be interviewing Dr. Heavenly Kimes of Married to Medicine. So that will take place tonight, okay? Y'all see the time right there. So y'all come on over. Come on over, honey, and let's go ahead and, have the conversation with us. Y'all come on over there and enjoy a good time with Dr. Heavenly. Because if y'all seen Dr. Heavenly on her own channel, honey, she is too funny. So y'all come on over and join us. And speaking of Married to Medicine, right? So we saw the reunion of Married to Medicine, and we saw where the conversation came up about Contessa and her husband and whether or not there has been divorce talk, whether or not she's filed or anything. And they said that there was a separation that was put in place that Contessa had filed, and it kind of caught Scott off guard. You know what I'm saying? So Scott decided that he was going to take to his social media so that he could say a few things over there to everybody. Okay. He said he had some music playing when he did this. Now he had mystical playing. Like I heard y'all was looking for me. Here I go. That's the music he had playing on this. So he goes on to say 100% facts. I have never had a female life coach that I met online. I was just speaking out of anger. Number two, my kids know that mommy is my only girlfriend. It was an awkward joke that went wrong on film. He also goes on to say, break's over. I'd rather take time to clear my head than respond to the BS. Do you hear what I say? He said he's not going to respond to that at all. So you go ahead and you clear your head, Scott. You clear your head. But please understand that the situations are still going to be right there on the surface, kind of like with you and Contessa. Sometimes you don't ever like to clear things up or have the conversation with her. You like to skate out. You like to run out, kind of like what you're doing now. Okay, you saying time's up. You got to go ahead and step aside, clear your head, so you ain't got to address nothing. And then when you come back to the table with your wife, it still be the same problems and issues because you never really took the time out to actually deal with what's going on now. Now, granted, you don't owe us an explanation about anything because we just the fans and we enjoy the show. We just watch it for what it is, okay? But to your wife, I feel like you owe everything, all right? So hopefully you guys will get the therapy that you all need, which is what Contessa had been saying has been going on for the past, 2 or 3 weeks now. So hopefully as they come into the next season, they'll be on a better accord, okay, between the two of them. But either way, honey, good luck. And also, okay, be careful about that whole girlfriend talking, joking with your kids and stuff like that. Okay, be careful with all that. So it was an awkward joke that went wrong. If it was awkward, it should have never even gotten that far at all. Okay, you should have nipped that in the bud immediately, and you didn't, and here you are. Okay, but as I've said before, honey, good luck. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to some Real Housewives talk. Okay, let's talk about Cynthia Bailey. So y'all know Cynthia Bailey, Kyle Richards, as well as Kenya Moore are a part of the Real Housewives All-Star show. I don't know when this show is coming on. I'm debating on whether or not I'm going to watch it. Okay, I don't think they had enough melanin in the show for me to watch, but I might. Okay, because I'm over here watching Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and the only claim to fame we have is Garcelle, and it's fairly entertaining. Okay, now what we learned, okay, about Cynthia Bailey while she's been doing this whole Real Housewife mashup thing, we learned that she actually got into it with Kyle Richards. She said that they definitely bumped heads. What else did she say about Miss Kyle Richards? She goes on to say, listen, here's the thing. I like Kyle. And we have tons of friends in common, but we definitely had a moment, and that moment lasted a little longer than it needed to. So when I hear that it was a moment that they had, first of all, Cynthia don't really give a whole lot of people problems as we see her on Real Housewives of Atlanta. She, in my opinion, I don't feel like she really gives a whole lot of problems to people. Okay, or at least she be mindful. She don't really get into it with the ladies over there at Real Housewives. For real. Okay, so I guess Cynthia came over here and was like, girl, I'm not gonna let no rich white woman think she finna come up in here and talk to me any kind of way. Okay, I will collect you, I will get you together. So she wasted no time with letting Miss Kyle know what it is, what it was, what it's gonna be, what's up I say with me. Okay, she ain't waste no time with Miss Kyle. But when I hear that it was they bumped heads and it ended up lasting longer than what it needed to be, I'm kind of wondering, even though I feel like I may know the answer, who was the person that caused the situation to last longer than what it needed to be? I feel like once Cynthia has said her piece, she's a person that can, you know, for the most part, move on, girl. Because, you know, Miss Cynthia is quick to say, now what else is going on? Okay. So I feel like Cynthia is a person, once she checks you, lets you know what's on her mind, gathers you up and lets you know tonight disrespect her, she's on to the next thing. But see, Miss Kyle Richards, as I see her on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, I feel like she could have been the person that was dragging the issue out longer than what it needed to be. Also, I can see her doing it because she's been on the reality TV game, just like Cynthia. She's been in it for a minute, so she kind of knows, like Miss Kenya and stuff, what's going to make the TV show entertaining. But also just seeing how she is on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, how she keeps bringing up stuff like the situation with Crystal and Sutton. She's over there talking to Dorit about it and bringing it up to this person and stuff. So I feel like Miss Kyle Richards gives me the energy that she's just going to continue to drag the situation out. So I think it went longer than what it needed to be because of Miss Kyle. But y'all let me know y'all thoughts in the comments down below. It also seems like she may have bumped heads with her own friend, Miss Kenya. Okay, I did see somebody hop down in my comments and they mentioned something about that. So I was like, are they not as close anymore? I just really don't see them not being close, because one thing about Kenya, she always wants to make sure that she's on good terms with Cynthia. Even if she disrespects Miss Cynthia, she always want to make sure that she goes back and get back on good terms with her. So I'm sure whatever friction they had, it didn't last long, considering the fact that they really was all that they had when they went overseas with these colorless women. But that's just what I think, okay? But we're going to go ahead and move on. So I'm reading from Showbiz Cheat Sheet, and they're speaking on the friendships changed for Cynthia Bailey after the trip. Okay, going into the Real Housewives mashup series, Bailey had a couple of friends in the cast. More from her franchise was an obvious one. And also the Countess from the Real Housewives of New York, okay? The former model teased that the drama kicked off as soon as the trip started, which caused a shift in alliances. As it turned out, once we got there, and this is Cynthia speaking, she said things kind of changed. Sometimes friendships kind of changed, and I definitely ended up bumping heads with a couple of people. I'm generally a team player. I like peace, but I'm all about reaping what it is that I sow, okay? I'm out here giving you something. I expect to, you know, get the same thing in return. And I felt like I wasn't getting the same energy and support that I was giving out, so we had to talk about it. Okay, so it seems like Miss Cynthia may shock us as we see the episode of the Real Housewives mashup. We're gonna see just how much she shocks us, and she has to collect the girls and get them together. Because let me tell y'all, Cynthia, she done got with that mic, baby. Y'all can't tell Cynthia nothing. She done found a whole new different level type of peace, honey. Now, Cynthia typically is not a person in how I view Cynthia. You guys hop down in the comments and let me know how you view her. But how I view Cynthia, she likes to keep things very poised and professional in a sense. Okay, very careful of her words. But she don't give him about none of that no more. Okay, we kind of saw that as the season was happening last season on Real Housewives of Atlanta, but now we for sure. Okay, when she got on Wendy Williams, and she never says this, she blatantly says that who would she want to be fired for Real Housewives of Atlanta? She said Nene Leakes, the person that's not even on the show right now. And then she said, when Wendy asked her, who would you not want to see on the show ever again? She said, oh, Nene Leakes, in so many words. She was speaking on Nene Leakes. Now, I know that the reason she did that was because Nene had went onto a different platform, and she said, if I could, fire somebody, if somebody could be removed, I think that Cynthia Bailey should be one of the individuals removed. Now, when Nene has said this in the past, Cynthia always took the high road. But this time, Cynthia said, girl, I fuck all that, baby. Miss me with all that, girl. I'm finna let you know what it is, okay? No, y'all can go ahead. Don't bring her back. Don't bring her back. Don't bring her back. That's the energy that Miss Cynthia was giving us. So we're going to see, okay? I'm not really sure when they're going to drop the deets as to when we can expect to see the Real Housewives mashup, but I might tune in, okay? I'm going to see what the previews are talking about before I confirm whether or not I'm going to tune in. Y'all let me know if some of your faves are going to be featured on the mashup and whether or not you'll be tuning in. Drop down below and leave me your thoughts, okay? Let's go ahead and move on to something else. While we're speaking on Real Housewives of Atlanta, Carlos King got the chance to be interviewed by Jasmine, by the Jasmine brand, and she wanted to know his thoughts about how he felt about the last season of Real Housewives of Atlanta. And I'm so glad he kept it real. He was like, listen, this was the first season I did not watch all the way through because he just wasn't giving. At all. It wasn't interesting to me at all. And I understand that it's a lot of hard work that goes into this, but it wasn't entertaining enough for me. And then he also goes on to reflect back to, I guess the last season that he thought was really good was the season that he was on, season 9. He also spoke on how he ended up leaving that season, but he knew from the beginning he was not going to be there because the ladies were kind of getting comfortable. And he felt like it was a lot to try and produce them while they're on this show, right? And I thought that was real interesting that he said that he knew he was leaving and nobody else knew, because I was hearing rumors at one point that the reason he left was because of the lies and everything that Phaedra told about Kandi, and that Phaedra got that information from Carlos. So for me, that was the rumor that I had been hearing. So I thought he was like let go from Bravo, but it sounds like from what he's saying, he wouldn't let go from nowhere. He decided to walk away from the show because it just wasn't gonna be the same after that. It wasn't giving. So that's where he's at. But regardless of where he was in that situation, walking away, he's doing so great right now. He has a hit show on OWN called Love and Marriage Huntsville. He also has Encore on BET. BET presents the Encore that comes on Wednesday nights, and then you have Love and Marriage Huntsville that's going to be coming out, I believe, in about 2 weeks or so. So I am excited. Carlos King be giving us some great content to watch out here on TV. So I am so looking forward to what it is he's going to bring to us next. Okay, but let's go ahead and move on. Let's get into Miss Nene Leakes. I was going to say Nene Leakes. Okay, what kind of stuff is that? Miss Nene Leakes. Okay, she also sat down with the Jasmine brand. She's been doing these interview tours lately, you know, which I find to be very interesting considering she's not necessarily on any show, but I can't be mad at her because she is the foundation of Real Housewives of Atlanta. So, I mean, she's always, to me, in some sense, going to be relevant in some way, right? Some shape or form. So Miss Nene sat down with the Jasmine brand, and the conversation came up about her husband, Greg. And what we learned is that her husband is back in the hospital. Okay, his cancer unfortunately has returned, and Nene is asking for prayers for everyone. She's also asking, you know, for prayers for her, for herself as well as for her husband. He had been in the hospital for about a week after having surgery, and it looks like he's going to be in there for another week. She said he's had this procedure done before. It took him about 15 days before he was able to come home. So she's predicting he's going to be in there for yet another week. She wasn't going to say anything. She was going to wait till he came back home, but she decided to let everybody know what was going on with Greg right now. So sending a lot of love and prayers over there to the Leakes and everything. So hopefully he gets better. I know they got to be a tough situation, you know, because we got to see on television what that process was like for Greg as he went through, you know, this cancer scare, having cancer, having to go through the surgery, and just seeing how Nene had to be there for him and support him. So here it is, she's having to do that again. So we know how tough that can be on Nene. When it came down to the conversation about him being in the hospital, this is what Nene ended up letting everyone know. She said, "Hey guys, I was really caught off guard in that interview when asked about Greg. He's a private person, so I hadn't said anything publicly. His wishes, only our circle, no details." And really, sometimes it's best that way because people just read into it whatever they want to. And family, woo child, I just can't. Okay, Greg told me this morning he had 80 text messages and wanted to know what was wrong with his phone. Thank you for your many prayers, text messages, and calls. P.S. Greg says to me, keep smiling. So that was a very positive message for the most part that she put out about her husband, Greg. And that's what happened, girl, when you be private and everybody else don't really know everything that's going on. Even family didn't know. So everybody like, what? How you gonna tell the general public and you ain't even tell me? And da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So I can imagine, but hopefully those 80 text messages were primarily filled with love than they were questioning why they were not informed prior to the public, because he is going through something as well as her. Okay, so hopefully things continue to get better. Now, also on that same interview, Nene spoke on her treatment from a Real Housewives, and I want you guys to go ahead and check that out. So go ahead and get into this.
You made headlines when you decided to leave the show, and you called out Bravo and Andy Cohen. I think you accused them of discrimination and mistreatment. Am I accurate with that?
Mistreatment.
Mistreatment. Okay. You accused them of mistreatment. And I think I read that you said that some things you had noticed had gone on for years. Was there one thing in particular that made you kind of pull the trigger and say, you know, I had enough, I'm going to speak out?
It's been happening for a very long time, honestly, to just be honest with you. I was getting a lot of treatment that the viewers just don't get to see, that was happening behind the scenes, that were happening undercoverly. And it was happening consistently to me. You know, when you're working for a company this large, you wish to work it out or try to work it out behind closed doors. And I felt like behind closed doors, all of my efforts were being unseen and unheard. I felt like at some point, you know, I loved them like they were a family, obviously, if you work for a company that long. And I felt like, I'm not sure where, but I felt like they hated me. And that's a strong word, but obviously when I look back over all of the things that were happening to me behind the scene, they hated me. That's just what it was. I felt like I was just there to be a workhorse. They were using me to build the network, to build the show, and at the same time, they were doing things behind closed doors to me that was just really unethical. And it's a lot. It's a lot that happened. There are a lot of things that I can't even speak on, but a lot of things happened that were unfortunate and really saddening.
So you guys heard what Miss Nene had to say, okay? She felt as though she was being used. I think she was. I feel like everybody over there is likely being used, but I also feel like Nene got paid a pretty good penny for it. I feel like a lot of the issues that happened over there didn't really occur for her, as she was okay with it, right? She left the show. She even came back to the show. Okay, so obviously some things were working in her favor until that very, you know, last season that she did, which was what, season 12, was it? Because I think we just had 13, so I think season 12, when she ended up closing the computer and walking away. They likely punished her for that, because if it was an actual reunion in person, she couldn't necessarily just get up and walk off like that. So I think they were kind of punishing her, and she didn't really like the contract that she was receiving. And the rumor was already being had that they were kind of trying to push out some of the old head ladies, you know, and I think they probably were trying to rework their budgets and stuff. So, I feel like even though she may have felt like she was being used and things like that, she definitely benefited greatly from it. I do kind of find it interesting that now you're saying that it was unfair treatment. At one point, I could have sworn she said that she was feeling as though she was being discriminated against. And now she's saying, oh, it was because of unfair treatment or whatnot. But you still, in some capacity, you were okay operating in that space until it turned around and it ended up being something that you didn't want. And then you decided to, you know, go ahead and make a fuss about it. Not to mention, so much so, you thought those people were like family to you. And you even called, I believe, Andy like a racist or whatever. So there were like a lot of things that happened afterwards. I don't really see Nene making a comeback, but again, you just never know. You just never know how these things may pan out. I think the way that she's taking her approach now, which is having conversations with these different blogs, maybe that's what she should have did in the beginning, because I think it was, she just took a lot of stuff to social media and just going off the way that she did and stuff like that. I think it could have been handled a lot better. You know, I understand if she was getting frustrated behind the scenes and nobody was really listening to her. I feel like in front of the scenes, she probably could have handled that just a little bit better, you know. But we'll just have to see how this is all going to play out for Nene Leakes in the future, okay? You guys leave your thoughts and comments down below on how you felt about everything that I discussed today on the quick chat. I'm Jamie, that's me. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share my videos, follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.